Hello. Um, I hope everybody's able to hear me and have a good day. Okay, let me just um, do a pop-out chat so I can see everything that's going on, and boil the water so I can drink some tea. I hope you're having a great day. Merry Christmas and happy holiday to anyone watching. And well, I was thinking about cleaning my balcony. It's really weird because only around the holiday time I get around to cleaning my balcony, which is pretty much a dumpster the rest of the year. And I remember 2 years ago when I first thoroughly cleaned my balcony, because all sorts of leaves and dirt and whatnot, for example dead plants, because I do have the bad tendency to kill off plants by not watering or overwatering them. But if you're hearing something in the background, it's the water that's boiling, because I'll be drinking tea. So yeah, I should be cleaning my balcony pretty soon for this year too. Anyways, I hope you're doing fine, and I don't know if I should say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. I know that not everybody celebrates Christmas, but I'm happy if you're here. So today again, sorry for the background noise, I thought I would drink some tea. It's a pastime activity I do quite enjoy and haven't really shared with the internet until now. So if you're wondering what's with all this crap, well, this is what I'll be drinking tea from. And just let me put my mic a little down because I'm seeing some red in the bar from from OBS, from the recording software. Anyways, this is a set, I guess you could say. It's a gong fu, so green tea, gong fu cha means in Chinese green tea with skill. I've ordered tea from China, and I'll be enjoying it tonight with you, and hopefully also chatting about whatever. This is called a gaiwan. It means a bowl with a lid, and it is just a bowl with a lid. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And the water, that's the tea, well, the infused water that's coming from this, is decanted into this serving cup. I think the fairness cup, I think it's called, again, officially. I can't really pronounce any Chinese names, and if I try, it will sound funny for native speakers, or even not native speakers, but people who are learning Chinese. And sorry for that. I'll apologize now because I will be making lots of mistakes. But the water decanted is decanted in this and then served to multiple people. But we don't have multiple people today. It's just me, and hopefully I'll be, because of this, I'll be enjoying more tea than usual. But this is a way of preparing tea that's useful also for serving to other people. And as you'll see, we'll do multiple short infusions of the same leaves, thus having different flavor profiles and all sorts of fancy stuff, I guess, from the tea leaves. It does make the brewed tea taste better. Yes, that's something that I can most certainly say. You can taste a better tea. So if you're having a more expensive tea, it's it's a good idea to brew it with this method. I'm by no means an expert. I learned most of the stuff I know about this online, um, so hopefully I won't do any faux pas, I guess, or any mistakes in brewing this. But the thing I'm most interested that was for some reason a hard word today. The thing that I'm most interested in is just having a good tea. So yes, Christmas has once again come. It's been a year since last Christmas, which is pretty normal if you think about it. But today a thought hit me. You know, every second that passes, it's been a year since that second last year. And if you think about life, I guess, time in that way, it's really weird that we celebrate New Year's Eve, because every second is a New Year's, basically. So why do we just draw a line in the sand arbitrarily like that on the 1st of January? It's not even a fun month, January, you know? Even though, you know, it used to be winter, now where I live it isn't really winter anymore, it's just a more depressed autumn. It's not even cold enough to be called winter. I can go just with a thin jacket and a t-shirt. It's pretty much a joke of winter right now, which is sad. I want to bully this winter into being better, but I can't because weather. So the first thing that we need to do is rinse all the glassware and all the things used for tea. I can't remember the words now, but basically I'm going to do ghost tea. Just put hot water in everything to disinfect it and warm it up for the tea. And I'll then dump this water into the tray underneath, which I kind of improvised from a bread cutter, and I sealed it off with some super glue on the edges so it doesn't, you know, leak water. But I also have these tweezers that I use because when you're serving tea to other people, you don't really want to put your hands on the small cups where their lips touch. Is a kind of a sensible thing to do, if you ask me. So the first tea that I want to drink is this thing here. This is an aged white tea that was, well, compressed into a cake. I think a lot of people haven't seen this kind of tea before. Kind of looks like this. It's been pressed into this cake, which is a being, I think it's pronounced. And basically I'm going to just with this stick pry off some leaves and put them in the gaiwan and brew them. So actually let me put them here so everybody can see. This is harder than I anticipated, but no worries. So I basically take this round thing and stick the bamboo needle here or here and pry off upwards some leaves and try to not destroy the cleanliness of my room, I guess, and my desk. Not the cleanest of cuts, but you know, I don't really care that much. And I'm going to fill this about a third way up. Let me see. Yeah, this is a much better cut because the leaves are more whole. And yeah, I'm going to just fill it up to there, because the teas are now pressed and they will expand a lot. maybe even the whole Gaiwan will be filled with them until until they expand to their full size. So we gotta be careful about that. I've put it back into the box where I keep my quote-unquote collection, because I usually consume it all before ordering a new tea, so it's not really a collection. It's just tea waiting to be drank and enjoyed by me and my friends. So, firstly, after rinsing, we have to make a ghost tea, which means I'll do a very short infusion. Not ghost tea, but rinse the leaves. So I'll make very short infusion just to get the, I don't know, pesticides and dirt and whatever off of the tea. Warm it up, because I've warmed up the vessels, but not the tea itself. And throw it off. And I'll throw it off here and quickly go and get a rag, because I've spilled a little bit of water. Fortunately though, it was just one step away from me, so no problems there. Yeah, and I'll just clean this up a bit. You are handling hot water, so it's not an unforeseeable event that you'll spill some water. So now let's make the first real infusion. I'm smelling the leaves, so I can get, it's one part of really enjoying the tea, and they smell really sweet. Aged white teas do have this honey-like characteristic to them, which I like. So I'm drinking one of my favorites right now. And I'm smelling both the lid and the leaves. And they have just a hint of honey. It's not that sweet that it's overpowering. It's not like you're smelling honey or eating honey. It's just like there was honey in the room, open somewhere. And it's also got a little bit of, not necessarily astringency, a little bit of almost bitterness, I would say. Like honey that was made from very, very pissed off bees, you could say. And I'm going to keep this briefly, and using decently hot water at first, because the leaves haven't expanded yet fully. But I don't want to keep it very long, because it will become bitter. And this is, I guess, how the tea looks on camera. And in the cup, the colors in reality are a little bit more vibrant. The camera isn't picking up that. It's pretty washed off, but let's smell the liquid. And taking a first sip. Okay, these beginning to expand, I think I'll let it infuse a little more for the next rounds. It does have a little bit of an astringency. Those honey notes that can be smelled aren't there in the infusion yet. It's more of a it's more like the forest. I don't know, the dirt. Not really dirt, but it's an earthy, a little bit of an earthy tone. Just like, I don't know, the beehive were in a forest, I guess. Forest bees exist, I think. It doesn't taste like much for sure, so the next infusion will definitely need to stay longer. But it's good. It's good that I haven't kept it so long that it's bitter, and I'm putting the water in the pitcher so it can cool off a bit. Just a moment. Sorry about that. I had a call that I had to take. So the water is cooling. I think I'll keep it a little longer to cool and do a longer infusion because the flavors of tea can be basically turned up a notch in three ways: hotter water, longer infusion times, or more tea leaves. I have a decent amount of tea leaves here. I could have used more, a little bit more, but I'm happy. And I want to cool the water a little bit more and keep it a little longer to try to get some of more of the aromas. I was so other than cleaning my balcony and thinking about the futility of having a new year's when basically every second is a new year from the last year, I of course, as most people do in this period, thought about this year as a whole. It's been pretty busy, I think, pretty stressful. That's for sure. But I've had an attitude change in the past month, I guess. Yeah, it's been in the last period, which was really helpful, and actually led to me doing this stream and the others from this week, even though they weren't the greatest. I'm really happy with how this one is going though, even though they weren't the greatest. They were really easy and fun to do because the attitude change, I guess, comes from not forcing yourself to do stuff, which is a hard skill to get. And thanks for dropping by. Merry Christmas to you too. And for the viewers chatting in chat, I guess it's there's a reason we call it chat. This is the second infusion that I'm going to do. As you can see, a darker, well, as I can see, I don't know if you can, a darker liquid. And what I'm afraid of is bitterness. What I don't really want is bitterness. This, if you brew this properly, it shouldn't be bitter. But I think I'll manage. I've done it a couple of times. Okay, definitely more flavor, and it's not bitter. It has more of the sweet notes, you know. It's almost like somewhere in making this tea, a honey jar. But I don't really know what flavor of honey. I thought about this before. I don't really know what kind of honey, because different honeys have different tastes. It's almost like they took just the sweet part of the honey and spread it on water, just like an oil, and bubbled some substance through it, and then took those bubbles and put them in another glass. And that glass gives the aroma of this. It's definitely not overpowering, and it also tastes like tea. It also has the fresh, a bit of the fresh feeling of tea. Although definitely a lot more like a black tea than a green one. It doesn't have really floral notes. It doesn't have grassy things going on. but it does warm you up. That's for sure. You know what this reminds me of, other than the honey? Leaves, autumn leaves. So if you know the smell of a rainy November day, walking in a park, and all the piles of leaves that are just a little bit almost fermenting, but not quite because of the coldness. That's here, along with the honey. So yeah, a pretty poetical description for a liquid, I guess. But I do quite enjoy this tea, and I'll cool the water for another infusion. I'm cooling a lot more water than I should be, and I think I'll just drop it in the boiling device. I can't recall what it's called. Not a native English speaker, but it's fine. I'm actually supposed to, well, not supposed, but I ordered a new one which has a longer spout, so I can pour off with much more precision, because not for all teas I'm cooling the water off. For others I'm just putting it from the kettle. That's the word, kettle. I'm just, from the kettle, I'm pouring it over the leaves, and this one has a pretty big opening, as you can see. I ordered one with a much smaller, narrower opening, and it was supposed to arrive for Christmas. It didn't, as you can see, but it's no problem. It actually, that's an interesting idea about Christmas gifts. I'm not really that big of a fan of Christmas gifts, and I do have a friend who has a very interesting tradition with his family, and he didn't get gifts for Christmas for all his life, and just along the year, if he really wanted something, they would buy it for him, which is an different and interesting approach, I could say, because my birthday was always you can't really change your birthday, right? Was always close to Christmas. So when I was young, for the whole year I wouldn't really get anything, and then my birthday would come, and a week later Christmas would come. And around when I turned 12, 13, I realized, hey, my parents are spending money on these things, and I kind of feel bad. So, because it really is an investment in a short period of time for a party, and then a Christmas, and a Christmas party, and gifts, and such. So I didn't really, when I realized this, I couldn't really be that happy for receiving Christmas gifts, because I always thought, that's kind of a lot of money. So what ended up happening over time, and this could have and would have probably ended up happening regardless, was I didn't really want gifts anymore, and it became fine. Now I of course I don't really ask for anything, and I don't really, well, just the thought is good enough, usually, or a small thing. Actually, I think I received the same amount of happiness of being grateful and fulfillment, just from a small gift like a CD or whatnot, that I would have got from something much more expensive than when I was a little, which is kind of the wrong way around if you think about it. Spending a lot of money when you're a child, and not that much when you're an adult, but being a little more mature really helps you appreciate even the small things, like having a nicely cooked meal, for example. I actually kept a bit of a diet before Christmas. You could call it a fast, even though that would imply a lot more I shouldn't be shaking this, by the way. It's just a personal thing. It would imply a lot more of a religious mindset than I have. But I did keep a diet before Christmas, and food tasted good. Food tasted a lot better. I really wanted a pizza, and I got one when I could. It tasted absolutely great. The first near me, there's a pizza joint, I guess, where they have really ginormous slices of pizza. You don't even buy a pizza; you just buy the slices. But they are so good, and they are about this big, for real. Yeah, for real. They're huge. They are about this big, like the tray here, and the same diameter, I guess, and a triangle. You know how pizza slice looks. They are slices, not they are triangular, not rectangular. So I got 3 of those huge slices, and the first 2 were great. They felt awesome. The third one was a little bit much. Definitely, the third infusion has more of the leafy notes, and the honey and the sweetness has taken a back seat. Isn't the Christmas meal much better after a fast? It is, although I will say this year the Christmas meal was a lot sooner than other years. They wanted to host it, I guess, not that late at night, which meant I wasn't that hungry. And even though I wasn't that hungry, it was very good. And what was even better were the sweets, because my mother prepared baklava, which is a Turkish sweet, which we also do here in Romania, and she did that because when... Hi everyone, don't know if why this came as recommended video. Merry Christmas, the lot of you. Merry Christmas to you too. We're drinking tea, enjoying tea, and talking about the Christmas meal, I guess. So I kept a fast before the Christmas. It tasted a lot better, and especially the sweets. My mother prepared baklava, which is the Turkish sweet, which we also have here in Romania, especially when she was young. She enjoyed her grandmother cooking that for her, and she wanted to have it today, basically. And although it wasn't the greatest I had, it was better than any homemade one I've ever had. And the tea is also great, as I said. It's not that sweet as the first infusions, but the leafier notes have... and let me actually put a little bit more water on the leaves. If you turned your TVs on later, I'm drinking an aged white tea, and this is a Chinese way of making tea that I've discovered online for a few years. It's called the Gong Fu Cha. I'm going to pronounce, if I try to pronounce anything from this wrong, because I don't speak Chinese. But anyways, the Christmas meal definitely was good. What wasn't that great was me getting into kind of an argument with some of my relatives, and the argument was about feminism, and the relatives were females. So the Christmas had its good parts and its bad parts. Yes. I think I'll keep it a few more seconds, the tea. And after in my family, and I know more Romanian families do it like this. The tradition is that the big Christmas meal is on the 24th. It's on the Christmas Eve, basically at night. And the gifts are also received there. You know, you meet with the family, whatever. I know that in the West, in the more west, I guess, Western Europe, and because this is Eastern Europe, you know, it's the day of the Christmas. This morning basically was when the kids would get gifts and the adults exchange gifts and whatnot. But I actually gifted my father a tea. The funny part is that I received it a few months ago, but that's not a problem, you know. A gifted gift is better than a bought one. It's quite tricky to describe this infusion. I don't really feel the sweet notes that much anymore. It's a little bit different. I start an argument between a bisexual and a pansexual. Well, you know, I want to live to see a new day. You know, flicking bollocks. I really don't want to piss off the wrong kind of people. So I'll try to not start any arguments, you know, in the future in general. Also, sorry, the delay between me reading chat and the chat actually being used is great because I forgot to set the right settings. So it's a bit of a delay. But this tea needs a lot more steeping time. That's I think what I didn't really do right. Again, it reminds me of November leaves. So if you're walking in the park on a November, especially the smell, I haven't tasted dead leaves, you know. Hey, happy Christmas to you too. So I haven't ever tasted dead leaves. I think I was 10 when I ate a leaf, but you know, piled leaves in the park I haven't tasted. I have smelled them before, because I do quite like walking around, especially at night. It's what tea is that? It's an aged white tea, one of my favorites. It's I could tell you the whole name, I think, but I have to scramble through my box there. It's just an aged white tea. It was compressed into a cake, and then I'm brewing it now. So yeah, these infusions remind me of the smell of leaves on a rainy November day, I guess. So after getting into the wrong argument yesterday night, which lasted for a couple of hours, I think 2 hours, I talked. I just talked, and I'm actually quite happy that I didn't. In the past, especially when I was a lot more stressed than now, I used to get really angry in arguments. But I was really able to keep a cool head, which I quite appreciate, and I'm quite proud of that. But after the argument, at about the 12 at night, I decided, you know what, let's go for a walk. Okay, a little bit of more of a taste in this one. I don't know why I'm getting fish. It doesn't smell or the taste like fish, but the word fish appears in my mind out of nowhere. There's just a slightless hint of astringency, of bitterness here. And I'm a destroy your ears for a little bit with me boiling water. Sorry for that. And there's the honey notes, the sweetness. It's back. Sounds fishy. Yeah. You know, the fish are always fishy. What are the wooden tools on this? So, These tools are basically used for preparing tea. I have a pair of tweezers because usually you're not drinking alone. A lot of things you shouldn't drink alone, especially alcohol. Tea is a little better to drink alone, but the tweezers are used to take the cups and move the cups because they are very small, and if other people are drinking from them, you don't really want to put your hands where their lips are touching, because in this way of preparing tea, the same tea, basically the same infusions, go to everyone. This is why you have the fairness cup, the pitcher, so you can pour to everybody sitting around, basically. So these are used to basically move the cups around. You also have this. This is used for cleaning. So when you have leaves stuck, especially in small teacups. For Eastern folks used to be fish-based glue. Far Eastern folks used to use fish-based glue. Nothing wrong in drinking tea alone. Most people do that. Yeah, drinking tea alone is a lot better than drinking alcohol alone. And about the fish-based glue, I know that a lot of things actually used to be turned into glue. Merry Christmas. Actually, if you know about, I forget the species of tree, but there is a tree, birch. Birch sap is actually a very good glue if you're in an emergency situation. What more do you miss from the tea set? So I basically have everything I kind of need now. This is used for cleaning, especially if you have the tea. This is a guy one, and you also have the some vessels for brewing tea. Again, I'm forgetting words, but I'll just describe the thing that are harder to reach in. So this is used for cleaning that. This is used for prying off tea cakes. So I actually used it in the beginning to pry off the leaves that I put in here. So these are the leaves. If you wanna see them, the light is right here, and it's not the best source of lighting. And this is used for scooping tea leaves when they are loose. And that's basically that. I'll just put it there. If this is better, I don't know. I heard birch sap is really tasty. Yeah, I heard that too, and even though I haven't tasted birch sap, I have once tasted pine sap, which is actually has a lot of sugar. So I used to quite like researching and reading books about survival and stuff like that. So if you're in an emergency situation, whatever, pine and spruce and other species, coniferous species, I think they're called, with the needles. Under the bark, if you cut the bark, they'll have a sap which has a sugar content that's pretty great, and it's also a lot very sticky. It can also be used as glue. You can. It's also very flammable, just as birch sap is. So you can just cut it off and melt it, and then use it to start fires in the snow, I guess. Although I haven't done it. I haven't used it for that. I haven't actually ever camped in the winter either, only in the summer with a tent and stuff like that, but I would enjoy camping in the winter. Lots of natural things are tasty though, and coming back to fish, fish is very tasty. I actually quite enjoy fish. I know some people don't really. It's an acquired taste. But as you can see, the leaves have pretty much filled the whole thing from it was just a quarter filled when they were compressed in the beginning. I think I'll keep them a little more under the water. So yeah, at 12 at night yesterday, I was walking in the park near me. It was nice. I always enjoy walking, and I do it quite often. It helps you clear your thoughts. It helps helps with lots of things, keeping being healthy. Because even though I might not do a lot of organized sports, I do walk sometimes even 3 hours a day. Not every day, of course, but if I want to feel like walking, I think today was 2 hours and a bit for me, so at least an hour each day. I take a walk through the city. You could yeah, it's the resin is used to start fire. This infusion kind of forgot that it used to be sweet, and it went full in with the leafy stuff, the leafy matter. This identifies as leaves, as the smell of leaves. It's good though. I enjoy it. It's kind of funky, a little funky, yeah. And it also, but it does have the taste of sweetness. It's really weird. It doesn't really have the sweetness, but it has the aroma that the sweetness had with it. Best way to declutter my mind. I always find I find that I'm always distracted by stuff. Yeah. So walking, especially through nature, is a great way to declutter your mind, to think straight. And even if you're using headphones, listening to music or a podcast, that I've noticed that my mind kind of has its own rhythm, and it kind of deafens what I'm hearing. How many cups down are you now? Well, I would say 6 or 7. I haven't counted them, but I'm not tea drunk yet. I don't know if you didn't know. The Chinese have this term cha zui, which again I'm pronouncing wrong because I don't do tones. I don't know tones, but basically, if you drink a lot of tea, which country are you living in now? Romania. I'm still living in Romania. I've always in Bucharest, actually, the capital city. But I'm importing this stuff from China. It's quite expensive, the transport at least. So it's a term of a state of mind where, because of the tea, you're having a lot of mental energy, yet you're relaxed. You're focused, yet relaxed. And I'm going to do another infusion, and if this keeps on the same, I might actually change it because it's Christmas. I'm delecting myself with more than just one tea. I'll also have some of this stuff, which I'll talk about in a minute. So yes, yesterday after Christmas, I actually remembered because the park near me has a lake, and actually remembered in 2021, yeah, in 2021 or 2022. So it wasn't this year. It was 2022 in January, I think. I'm going to continue after reading chat. Now for me, if you say headphones, it's not the same. True clarity comes when I have absolutely nothing to think about. Even if I bop my head to the rhythm of a song from my headphone, that's enough to distract me. I do know what you're talking about. It's really different to walk with headphones as opposed to without hearing something. Again, sorry for the chat delay. I forgot to turn on a setting which made things faster. I won't forget in the following times I'm doing this because this is really fun for me. Anyways, yes, hearing something definitely distracts you a little bit, but I've noticed something quite weird. If I'm listening to something I've heard, bucur să te văd. I'm happy to see you too. I'm absolutely happy to see you. if you're listening to something that you've heard or doesn't quite pique your interest to the fullest, my mind just goes on with its own thoughts. And it's really weird. It's almost like an ADHD state of mind, I guess. Where it just when it's hearing some trigger words, it's focusing on the music or whatever. Another one bites the dust. It just then it's focusing, and in other times it's just dealing with stuff, with shit I have to deal with. So it's basically solving problems for me, so I don't have to solve them. But it is true that when you walk with no distractions, that's when you get the creative ideas, I feel like. So I also have a forest that's not near me, but I have a bus that I can take to that forest. And I really felt 2 months ago when I went there, I felt very creative walking through nature. I actually tried, it wasn't that cold, and I tried to go barefoot, which actually was kind of disappointing. I was expecting more, but it was just dusty. I have a pretty good cold tolerance because I take cold showers basically every day, except for today. I said, it's Christmas, I'm gonna take a hot shower, but for the past few months it's been cold showers basically every day. But yes, walking with or without hearing distractions, I guess it's very different. Coming full circle back to the story of me walking yesterday in the park and noticing the lake, and I might have kept this infusion for a bit too long. As you can see, the color is a lot darker. It's a lot more like an under-infused, I guess, a black tea. So it's a black tea that forgot it's a black tea and said, you know what, I'm feeling very light today. Other than a bit of bitterness, there's that fishy stuff that came to life. It's almost like it packs a punch now. It's good though. It's still good though. Who would have guessed that tea leaves taste like leaves? Well, tastes like the smell of leaves. That's good. Okay, so I was watching the lake, and remembered that in 2022 we had a cold couple of weeks in January, where when the lake froze, which isn't unfortunate, is something that unfortunately doesn't happen that often now. The weather's kind of changed, and winter became from the Giga Chad that it used to be, just the nerdy guy with glasses. I used to be cold. It's not something you fear anymore. I'm going to leave in a couple of minutes. Gonna watch the stream recording later. Happy Christmas all. Happy Christmas to you. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Hope to see you around. And I don't know how much of this I'm going to do tonight, but I'm feeling great right now. So probably it's gonna be for a little longer. So I remembered about the frozen lake, which actually led to one of the greatest quote-unquote discoveries of my walking career. It's not a career, my walking exercise, because I was hanging out with some friends. It was a cold morning, really cold morning. One of those winter mornings where it's cold because it's sunny. Because in winter, if there are clouds on the sky, it's actually, if you have an actual winter, it's the climate is hotter, I guess. It's warmer if there are clouds, because they are reflecting some of the heat back down. But if you have a sunny day, the sun isn't really warming anything at all. I'm here because of card games. What's your favorite? What's my favorite card game? If I'm playing with other people, Whist. Whist is, I think, my favorite card game if I'm playing with other people. That's the first answer that's coming to mind. I also like poker, but that's it. It can become pretty boring quite fast. I do like whist. And if I'm playing alone, just normal solitaire, I guess, is my go-to. Although 2 days ago, I actually learned a new card game from a friend that came these holidays home, I guess. I haven't seen him in a while, and he he was taught this game by Russians. It's a Russian card game called Durak, which means the fool or something like that. And I played with him, and he learned it from some Russians he was living in a dorm with because he did the last 2 years of his high school in England, but they had people from all around the place there. And I actually want to play a little more and maybe make a video on that card game. But Whist, I guess, is the one that I like. So it was a cold winter morning, and we went to one of the biggest parks here in Bucharest. Herăstrău it's called, and the lake was frozen, and I was quite happy to see that. And it was very fun to watch the ducks on the frozen lake going around, even though ducks are pretty shitty animals. They actually don't search duck mating procedures. It's quite gross. So I was walking with them, and we went to the northernmost part of the park, where actually the lake kind of goes in another lake, basically. So we have these lakes that are connected with some dams, very small dams. But we decided, you know what, let's walk along on the road, and I discovered one of the most beautiful roads, I guess alleyways maybe, on the side of the lake there, and it led to me just exploring that area by walking, which is something I quite enjoy to do. And actually I had different periods of walks based on where I went. For a few months I go to a place and kind of just learned all the streets and the ways to go there. Yeah, Durak. I think that's what it's called. Again, sorry for the chat delay. And actually, before talking some more, tea makes you pee. So see you soon. I came back not from the dead, just from the toilet. Sorry for the slight delay, but it's a liquid and it's ingested, so it has to also leave. I think the sweetness is back. And yeah, this is good, but it's starting to not die down, but get a little watered away. So I think this will be my last infusion for the night of these leaves. Even though I know they have something more in them, I just don't want to bully them to death. So I'll keep this a little longer and switch to the next one. Again, sorry for the chat delay. I just forgot about the setting when I was setting up the stream. Next time it's going to be better. But I guess we could also play some card games later. Maybe a little bit of solitaire or something online. Going back to the story, the frozen lake is something that I haven't seen. I don't think last year I ever saw the lake freeze. So it's quite sad, because many of my fondest memories are just walking along the lake and it being very cold, yet not humid. You know, in the autumn, in November, October, whatever, the weather is kind of chilly, but it's very humid. And what I like about winter, it's dryness. It's cold yet dry. I do prefer winter to summer a lot, because the struggle, quote unquote, of having to face that bit of cold actually builds a fire inside of me, compared to just wanting to sleep and die because of the heat in summer. But yeah, that's I guess why I enjoy the cold yet sunny winter days, because when it's a cold winter day with clouds on the sky, it's just not the same thing. I do have a friend who says it's kind of a fake thing to have a sunny winter day because the weather is tricking you, but I definitely don't agree with that statement. The sunny winter days are the best. Anyways, I also took a walk today, I guess. It was nice. I walked around an area that I don't really do, and I'll keep at it this winter until I get bored. And walking, I thought about doing this. It wasn't in my plan, and I didn't know how it will go, because the streams I did this week with me playing games, I kind of forced myself a little to just keep producing, talking, whatever. This just came natural, which is quite great. So actually, I played board games in the last 3 days, which I haven't done in a few months. And board games are very cool. Cards are great because they are portable and you have an infinite number of games that you can play with cards. If you know the rules, and the rules are pretty simple usually, you have an infinite number of games. But the complexity that comes with board games is quite different from just normal playing cards. Let me get the mouse out of the equation here, so you can just see the D-set. I played a board game that I remembered I liked. So sometimes you like something and you forget that you like that thing, and you have to do it again to remember how much you liked it. Which was the case for me with Carcassonne. Is an European board game, which after I described to my friends, they said it was a knockoff Catan, Settlers of Catan, which I don't agree with. It's a better Catan, if that. The similarities are the setting, where you have a map with fields and cities and roads, but that's kind of where it ends, because in this game you have some tiles and you basically build the map, and you have some meeples, they are called, it comes from My People, and they're wooden. They're just some wooden people figurines, really simple. It's always nice to have wooden pieces on a board game. And if you put them on a road, for example, when that road is completed, you get some points from it, and it's extraordinarily fun to play that game. I might try sometime to call some friends and play with them on stream maybe or something, but or just to play with them. But if you don't know about it, I do recommend that maybe you look into it. Anyways, for tonight I'm done with this tea, and I'm going to dump it out and drink another one, which just a moment, let me get the bowl. I have this bowl where I empty my tea leaves. It's quite dirty, you don't need to see it at all, but you will. Okay, that's clean. And I might actually make a tutorial or a video or something on the card game on Durak. But I do have to play a bit more with that friend so I can develop a strategy, because he beat me like crazy. So now we are drinking this. This is a golden water turtle, and it's a rock oolong, so from the Rock Mountains, I guess. It's from Fujian, which is in the east of China, just basically the province that it's near Taiwan, I guess, closest, on the other side of the sea, of course. And I'm going to end this. It has a distinct taste and a distinct smell, in the sense that all the teas from there are lots of teas made there, a lot of them quite expensive. And they are very similar between them, but not similar with other teas in general. So this is a oolong. An oolong is halfway oxidized tea, basically. So you have green tea, which is just fresh tea that was stabilized through a process, either through steaming, which is mostly done with Japanese teas, or through frying, which is mostly done in China. And on the other end of the spectrum, fully oxidized. So oxidation is basically you taking a bite of an apple and the apple turning brown. That's the principle. Fully oxidized is black tea. Oolongs are somewhere in between, so they let them oxidize and then they stop the process. And that gives them very, very special flavors. This one, the first thing that comes to mind when I'm smelling this is dark chocolate. It's dark chocolate, yet not the cacao smell of dark chocolate, because it also has an addition of sweetness that comes from something, almost chestnut-like. And I actually will taste the first infusion of this one, because why not? We're already balls in deep, we could say. The best way I've always described this tea is it tastes exactly how it smells. So the liquid actually smells the same as the leaves. Mostly like the unbrewed leaves. The smell is just a lot more powerful when the water has hit them. And I think I'll dump the rest and make a stronger infusion there. But it's a really good tea. I actually like it a lot, this one. And just someone, if you can write another message in the chat or something, because well, firstly I want to thank you for watching until now. It's been great for me. I haven't had these many reactions before, so thanks a lot for the interaction until now. Again, sorry for the delay that this is having. And I'm going to brew this with the water because it's cooled enough. And I don't know if you can see it, but it has a really nice color, almost dark caramel is what I would describe it. If the last one was a lot more golden. Then this one is a lot more brown. It's not red tinted, just brown. And the stream is going good. Okay. So if we taste this, I should have kept the water a bit longer, but it has a very cooling taste. I would say that the first thing that comes to mind is sitting near a mountain spring and watching the water. And the freshness of the water. It's not a refreshing tea, but it is fresh. A lot of people say these teas from the Rock Mountains have a mineral taste because it's a very mineral area and the tea plant absorbs the minerals. But it also has that something, I don't know if chestnut is the best way to describe it, but it's definitely a kind of nut. Not the human kind of nut, but the plant kind of nut. Okay, it's actually the total opposite from the human kind of smell. Again with the dark chocolate smell. It's very unique. I have a friend actually that says this is his favorite tea that I have. I remember because I walk quite a lot. After seeing the area around my house, I'm kind of obligated to go further and further. And sometimes you don't really walk in the prettiest of areas. And I had a friend ask me once, aren't you ever scared? That something might happen to you. I'm not quite walking in the ghetto, but close to it. And she asked me, aren't you ever scared of walking at night? Because sometimes, as I said, I just go out of the house at 10, 11, sometimes even 12 at night and just walk the streets kind of like a weird ghost. And no, I'm never actually scared of. I actually feel perfectly safe here. I don't know if Bucharest is a safe city or not, as compared to more Western cities. From what I've been to, I don't know. I've been to London and Dublin. I guess Dublin is the easternmost point I've ever reached, and it was a lot more depressing than here, a lot grayer. But I wouldn't say I feel less safe than there here. Okay, definitely a lot more of a taste in this one. It does have a sweet aftertaste. Maybe it's because I'm using the same vessels, but I don't think so. Almost like a sweet fruit was there at some point, accidentally, and they plucked it out, but it left a bit of an aroma. So, I've talked about walking, I've talked about games, I've talked about friends, I've talked about tea. I've even talked about feminism at one point. Well, I've talked about me talking about feminism, I guess. I haven't really talked about books, I guess. I do like reading, and month ago I started reading a book. I actually have an interesting way of reading where a lot of people, my grandma, I remember when I was young, a lot younger, I was 10, 9, 10, she told me, well, she's dead now, but she told me, you know, however shitty a book is, if I start it, I can't stop reading it. I can't read another book until I finish this one. And that's exactly the opposite way that I read. If I start something and I don't like it, I'll just read 2 pages and start another book. And honestly, I feel that my way is better, because if I were to force myself, and that's just the way I am, but if I were to force myself to finish, sorry for the noise again, every book I start, I wouldn't read as much. It would go like this. I read a book that I like, for sure. I start another one. I don't really enjoy it that much, so I force myself to read. And for the next month, basically, I'm burnt out on reading books because I forced myself so much to read that. The other way, the way that I do it now is, yeah, I start a book, I don't like it, I just start another book. And if I don't like it, I start another one until I find something I like and I finish. And sometimes I'm reading things in parallel, you know, there are some tougher passages to get through and some easier ones, so I might read 2-3 books in parallel, finish one, start another, finish another one, and this way I actually end up reading more. So if you've ever tried to read something and haven't quite gotten through with it, you could try this method. Let's use some really hot water and see what happens here. So if I'm using really hot water, I won't really infuse it for long. I'll just keep it short. I'll just wait for 3 more seconds. 1, 2, and 3. And let's see what this gives me. It isn't a lot darker. The liquid isn't a lot darker. It's pretty transparent, actually. So there isn't a lot of debris, dust, I don't know. It's hot yet tasty. It has another thing in it, okay. I don't want to say berries, because it's not berries. It's the sweetness of a nut that lived for an entire winter in the same apartment as a berry. I don't know why I'm so poetical today with my descriptions of taste, and I don't know if they are accurate, but they surprise me as much as probably you. But this is really good. Especially compared to the last one. The last one was definitely leafier. This is more rockier. Yeah, rocks. And serene mountain springs. Sure. And Discord messages that I'm getting for some reason. And yeah. So I kinda ran out of things to talk about, which is sad, but I'm sure that I'll have things to talk about next time. So until next time, which will come at a point which I do not yet know, thank you for watching, and I will have the next cup of tea in your honor.